Hey, everybody. So, I just want to kind of casually share some of my observations about the state of our world today. Um, we need to do better. You know, humans need to do better. That's the bottom line of it. Our values have gotten way off track. We let fear and conformity, compliance, and fitting in lead us and guide us when what we really need is to be intelligent, loving, and good, and kind, and considerate, and see the whole picture, understand as many kinds of human experiences and different perspectives as you can, learn broadly, learn deeply, get to know lots of different kinds of people, and remember that, yeah, your world may be okay, but let's not delude ourselves. There are a lot of people suffering in our world today, and they're just growing in number. They need help. So who's going to help them? What's the solution? I don't think the people in the trauma should be held or expected to fix the problem themselves, because they're not making it. They're struggling. So those of us who are making it, who are okay, who can help, who have time and bandwidth and intelligence and concern, by some method do need to begin to come together and work on this stuff together. So that's why I'm organizing an a nonprofit charity called the Modern Polymath Institute. And it basically exists to empower polymaths, to advocate for them, to support them, to gather them, to commingle them, to solve problems together, to learn together, we're doing research without the icky influence of traditional academia, limiting what can be researched or how it's researched. Academia loves the silo model, the disciplinary model, and they've been slow to adjust. They're not training holistic thinkers. That's why I'm really excited to share that we're going to be having an MBA program offered through the Apsley Business School, and the Modern Polymath Institute is in partnership with the Apsley on that. So there's lots of exciting stuff happening, but what I'm trying to do, just to reiterate, is to bring the smart people together. Good smart people, though, not the bad ones, not the psychopaths or sociopaths or narcissists, like not the kinds of people that have plagued traditional politics in the past and in current day as well. We need to have leaders that are trustworthy, and we need to monitor them and hold them accountable. And we need to use the power of AI, artificial intelligence, to help us figure out the new way to manage human affairs. Like, how can we make sure that every human being has their basic needs met? Like, we need to figure that out. Those of us who are smart and capable and care need to come together and figure out how to fix our world at a global scale. Like, this nation state bullshit won't help us get there. Like, when we got 195 countries, and if you include territories, it's something like 226. Well, then you got 226 agendas, and it makes problem solving at a global scale really tricky. So by some method, the smart polymathic geniuses alive today around the world will be coming together through the Modern Polymath Institute to see what we can do to help fix humanity's problems. So the old systems just aren't working. And those people in those systems will want to hang on to the old world for their own job security and their own financial security. So we've got to figure out, I think, how to do a universal basic income. And by the way, I really do think we need to we need to get a lot of people out of prison quickly, because the courts have been really corrupted, and there's so many people in prison for like drug crimes or petty thefts, or can't pay a fine, well, lock them up, or oh, you're mentally ill, lock them up. Like, there's so many people incarcerated in this country who shouldn't be. So we really have to insist on like a close look being at who's there and why, because we need to mass pardon people like drug crimes, or like anyone who's just in there because they're mentally ill, people who are in there for for crimes that someone else committed, but they were held responsible for, which is what the natural and probable consequences doctrine made legal to do. That was legalized wrongful conviction, in my view. Like, there's so many people mass incarcerated. America has a quarter of the global incarcerated, and we're only 5% of the world's population. So we way over incarcerate here, and it's because our government got greedy. They wanted the jobs, they're easy jobs, low skill jobs, easy, don't got to do much, just kind of stand around. They're easy jobs, and they pay decently well for people who may not even have a high school diploma. So there's a lot of people, not a lot of former military that couldn't make it in the police force, or, yeah, like they're kind of glorified mall cops, and they don't want to lose that job. It's very like 1988 in that world. They don't modernize. They don't get more efficient. They don't get more effective. It's very rigid. They don't want to change. They don't want to improve. And there's like serious human torture happening in our jails and prisons. That the government should never be torturing its citizens under any circumstances. So there's so much oversight that's needed, because the government is clearly not deserving of our trust. Especially in the criminal justice system. They've mass incarcerated and excessively sentenced so many of us. It's impacting a lot of American families. Almost 1% of our population is incarcerated at any given time, around 2 million. And then we've got almost 6 million on government monitoring, parole and probation. So there's a lot of government jobs that they've made for themselves to, monitor us and enslave us. It is legal enslavement in there. The 13th Amendment says, hey, slavery is outlawed in America, except for prisoners. You can enslave them. And so that there's a lot of money being made off the slave labor of citizens who are, many of them incarcerated, who really shouldn't be. It's a humanitarian crisis. So I hope that we can all sort of agree that we deserve better, and put in some effort to figure out how do we get to the better part. And here's what I think we got to identify the new world, like plan it out, do some strategic planning, systems thinking, holistic thinking, really think on behalf of all humans. Like, how can all humans on earth have their basic needs met? Figure out how to do that. And we could do it. And then once we have that new world set up for human thriving, that's really designed around helping us reach our potential. Once we have that new world identified, we can transition from the old world to the new one. But we got to be really innovative and really creative to get this sort of new world vision and make it happen. That's why polymaths are perfect for that. Polymathy is being a lifelong, life-wide learner, knowing about lots of stuff, being able to do creative thinking and analogical thinking, and just smart people, basically, people who can really think. That's who we need to help us right about now. And that's what I wrote my doctoral dissertation on, modern day polymaths. What do you know? Sure does come in handy right about now. I was also a White House intern and worked for Presidents Bush and Obama, and I managed leadership training programs for a government-wide audience. So I was almost 15 years in federal service, plus a White House intern, plus a governor's office intern in California. Like, I come from government, and I've also studied the criminal justice system. I have a significant other who lives in a California prison, and he was legally wrongfully convicted. He should not be there, but it's been the most uphill battle. It's like impossible to get justice done. The system is really broken, and it's victimizing a lot of citizens. So I hope we can fix it. Like, let's just admit it's not working well. It's nobody's fault in particular, okay? And we need to figure out a better way. That's the bottom line of all of this. In education, in healthcare, in our economy, in our criminal justice system, obviously. I mean, there's so much that needs to be fixed, and we can fix it. We have so many resources. When we collectively pool our resources, we have a lot. We can do a lot with that. But government wastes so much. Like, the way they use our money is very inefficient. Their bureaucratic processes they're not modern. They're inefficient, and they have a culture which elicits mediocrity from their employees. they don't attract the best and brightest as a general rule. Now, once in a while, you'll get someone exceptional in government, but for the most part, it's a culture of, it's not an exceptionally high performing organization as a whole. Like, whether it's the post office or the DMV or, you know, myriad government services, they're not really the greatest, right? Like, they're just sort of minimally acceptable. Some parts of government, NASA, there's some cool parts, but it needs to be all rethought. I think, even those in government can admit, like, it's failing us. It could do better. It needs to be smarter. It needs to be modernized. It needs to be refreshed. It needs to be rethought. And imagine, like, all those government jobs where you have to deal with, like, bullshit in the prisons. Like, what if you got to be instead someone who's, like, a mentor and a helper and helping change lives through the power of compassion and human connection? Like, that's what would actually rehabilitate and make our world better. And it would feel so good for the people doing those jobs too. Like, I just hope that anyone working in corrections realizes that they've been part of a humanitarian crisis, and we can get out of it though. We can create different jobs, okay? And make sure that nobody goes homeless or hungry who works in corrections just because we're shrinking the business of human enslavement and expanding, the business of human thriving for our citizens. So that's really what needs to happen, America, and the rest of the world too. Like, we need to be modern humans. And now AI is here, okay? Obviously, with AI here, hello, time to use it. Let's use AI to make the world a better place, okay? Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. We deserve a better world. And we need to listen to what Jesus said, treat other people like you'd want to be treated. I always do that. I do my best. I do my best to not accumulate bad karma for myself. So I like to be kind and considerate to my fellow human beings, to give forgiveness and compassion. And where I can't help, if I can't help, then I'd rather just not engage, be a part. We don't have to fight. People can be different, people can be different. And our difference is really what enhances our species. Like, our diversity makes us better, gives us more cool shit, different varieties. Like, it's polymathic to be, to have variety in the species makes us better, more robust. Like, and let's appreciate each other and stop tearing each other down. Like, we're going to have to forgive some old bullshit and move forward, and figure out how to make shit work. Stop committing acts of violence upon each other and dehumanization. Like, we're such cavemen still. Like, I can't believe the bullshit we still do in 2024 to each other. Like, I could just start crying just thinking about it. We do not treat each other right. Our values have gotten off. Treat other people like you want to be treated. If we all just did that, our world would be so much better. Jesus told us, and we're a stupid caveman who can't just figure out just that one thing. Treat other people like you want to be treated, and we'll all make the world a better place. Use your brain, use your heart. Okay, bye.